It's the Marc Clarke Morning Show. Healthy, wealthy, and wise.
Is that delicious beverage?
Duh.
Welcome to the show. Man, it would not be possible without my sponsors. Shout out to Delicious Beverage. You can go to deliciousbeverage.com and use the Marc Clarke code MARC2020. Get 20% off for delicious beverage. And Royal Moss LLC on Instagram. Go to Royal Moss LLC. You like that? That's their brand new commercial. Royal Moss. Every morning we wake up with the Royal Moss. Let me bring in my co-host. Today we got, of course, the Bootsy Vegas, the DC legend, the icon, the media mogul, and we got the Samantha Gunney.
Oh, wow, she's on here.
Building.
With you again.
Oh, wow.
Good morning, Mark and Bootsy.
Well, good morning. How y'all doing?
Good.
I'm doing amazing. You know what I mean? So good. I got to say it twice. Kind of like the restart of this show. But hey, Mark, how you doing, my brother?
You know, it's so funny. You guys were in the waiting room, and I thought I started the show, but I hadn't pushed the live button. So you guys got a chance to see everything at the beginning again. So we got a great show today. The business of music.
Oh, wow.
I wish you guys are too young to remember, but Henry and Wayne, we remember in Purple Rain, there's a classic line, and Boots, you probably know that line when. Oh,
I love Purple Rain. You wouldn't be talking about the trash can, would you?
Well, no, when the guy said the business, the kid, but I forgot what the line was. But Wayne and Henry, they'll know. You know, I'm old, I forgot. So anyway, I wanted to, before we get started, you know, Samantha is much more than just a pretty face. Bootsy, I was going to say you're a pretty face, but you know.
I've never heard anybody refer to her as a pretty face. This is the first in 2022. So this is great. You know what I mean?
Starting the morning off, right?
Wow.
Yo, love it.
I just want people to know the pedigree. So the OG teacher, Bootsy, at one point, Samantha was a student, but she's grown now. She's full grown now. She's an all woman now, Bootsy. But she's tired of you always treating her like she is still a student. She's a grown woman, okay?
Yeah. I mean, hey, at some point they got to grow. At some point, everybody's going to grow up, Mark, and be older. So, you know, however we get there.
I wanted to give you a little bit of something, a little bit of what you guys, what you guys did for me and Allison and some of the work that you guys have done. So let me see if I can find something here. Let me see. No, that's not it.
Samantha did something? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Allison and Mark in the afternoon.
I make this look good.
The Will and Jada of radio. Afternoons on 100 Hip Hop and R&B FM.
I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Allison and Mark in the afternoon. The Beyonce and Jay-Z of radio.
All of this winning.
Afternoons on 100 Hip Hop and R&B FM.
3 to 7, you can come on in. Hey, DMV, Allison and Mark. It sound like Washington.
Sound like Washington. The new move of the afternoon. Allison and Mark in the afternoon. Take 10 for DC, for you and your community. Take 10 minutes to complete your census, to make sure you're represented.
Hey, DC, you gotta let them know that you're still here. Come on.
Take 10 for DC, for you and your community. Just 10 minutes will help your community for 10 years. You have a voice. Speak up. Go to my2020census.gov.
And I mean, that's just a sample of what we can do. And let me tell you something. This show is all about bringing great people together to do great things. You know, this first week has been crazy because everybody on the show has been like family. But again, I guess the universe is like family, right? When you think about just the 3 people, you connect all the people we know is crazy. And then as I bring in the guests, it gets crazier. So my featured guest today, speaking of OG in the game, he is the CEO of the Strategic Music Partnership. He is talk about being an instructor. He's an instructor. He's an influencer. He's a brother who knows the ins and outs of the music game. Very technical. I love it because Henry's going to give you the breakdown. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, Henry Harris is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. There he is. What's going on, Henry?
Hey, good morning. Good morning to everybody. How you guys doing today?
Awesome. So Henry is again, he's representing the information, all aspects. He's here. Also, talk about OG in the game. I'm gonna, you know what? Okay, I'll bring Wayne on. For Wayne, you know him, you love him. Wayne Bruce, musical director to the Superstars, Spur of the Moment, DC legend, the man on the axe. He also now is a social media executive producer, and now in the entertainment business, he's also put on another cap: cameras, technology, instrumentation, music, audio. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wayne Bruce joins us.
What's going on, Marc Clarke? What's up, fam? How y'all doing?
Wayne,
I'm sorry, I didn't have my sound effects ready for y'all. I meant to have my sound effects.
Come on, Mark. Come on.
Mark. You gotta have a little button there, Mark.
I got
the button, man.
This blazer took me out of my element. And so, speaking of the Wayne Bruce, you know what? Now let me bring up my my young gun in the game. Also, she is a spiritual being who happens to be divinely blessed. She turned out my Christmas event. She's an artist. She's a minister. She's a special talent. She's a special human being. My girl, Shannon Ramsey, is in the building, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey,
hi.
So we're talking about the business of music, and we got a hell of a panel. And so I want to give them a little bit. Let me give them a little bit. So let me give the OG a little something. Wayne, and Wayne acts in this one too. I like this acting. Check out Wayne's acting.
Sometimes the only way to get through is to go through.
Go ahead, Wayne.
You know we done been
booty
through,
shot.
Bro.
Shout out to Levi Stevens, my guy.
Hey,
Levi.
remember?
Yeah, Levi co-wrote this song with us.
It's my man.
When you go to work, baby. This not an organ comes in.
This playing somebody else's guitar and somebody else's song.
I need to get my guitar off the wall.
Wait, that organ though, Wayne, that organ.
That's Dr. Richmond from Memphis. That's
Mark, you are hilarious.
You put some money in this video, y'all.
actually done.
I'm no longer fearful of the future. My path now bears a simple truth. No need for wasted tears. All my thoughts now crystal clear and set on what it is that I must do. I'm further now than when I started. Forced to believe beyond my means. Both stronger now and more determined. I've resolved to follow to wherever this may lead. I'm in too deep. I can't let go. I can't let go. I've come too far to turn and run. I can't stop. No matter what they may think, I still believe in this dream.
Just a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh man, you took it all.
That's a little
I know.
bit.
You know, we're gonna come back and we'll play the whole song. I just want to give a little taste, and let me give a little taste. Let's Shannon, give Shannon a little bit. Let's Shannon some now. Wait up, and then be more cats.
What's up, world? You rocking with me today. I'm your girl, Shannon Ramsey. And these my guys, them be more cats. And you are now family. So y'all gonna take this walk of faith with us, right? Yeah. Big shout outs to my executive producers, King Midas, Josh Lay, to the natives. And just a line, girl. I can't see my eyes, just don't know. I don't know. I'm looking, yeah, looking with my heart. It's nowhere else to go but up. Need me, yeah. Oh, come on. It's all you got. Yeah. Come on. Without you, whatever. Come on, hey! Oh, night, I say no faith. Come on, y'all. When you walk it out, you walk it out, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, night, I say no faith. Here comes y'all, listen. Come on.
Don't get. Hey, let
All
me tell you
right, all
something.
right.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Shannon's album is fire, and I was busting it wide open, and then I started listening to the words.
Wait a minute.
I was like, wait a minute.
Listen, sometimes you gotta drop
Did
it.
did she
It's
say
fine.
Lord or was
It's
it Lord?
fine. Lord, it's fine.
Else we did.
I was like, wait a minute, Shannon. You got me in here busting it wide open to a gospel record.
Well, sometimes you got to do that, Mark.
Absolutely.
So
that is the spirit right there.
And again,
when the spirit moves you.
When it moves you, you gotta go with it. You know, however it moves you, you gotta go with it.
So everybody,
no judgment.
Whatsoever it is.
Okay.
And so everybody watching, I'm gonna play both full videos at the end of the show, so I know because they're both are hot. I mean, great, and I love the fact that we are family because you guys, man, I'm just so proud of you. And so Henry, I was bragging about Shannon because you know Henry was saying, you know, he's in the gospel realm a lot, and I said, if you haven't heard of this sister, I want to hook you guys up. And so here we go. That was the introduction. So Henry,
yes.
You know, Wayne is the guy. Wayne, I will call Wayne. I see a video, I hear a song, I'll just have a musical thought, and I'll call Wayne. Wayne's busy. He ain't got time for me just taking Mark's calls just on some stupid. I will call Wayne about an organ I heard or a song I heard or a lyric I never noticed. And so he's my go-to guy. And Henry is my go-to guy when we're talking about them dollars and talking about breaking down royalties. And Henry, we had just got off the phone the other day, and I heard Sir Mix-a-Lot talking about,
the breakdown of publishing in points.
Right. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually saw the video.
And Bootsy's also the same version. I will call him the same way. So thank you for putting up with me. So Henry, to start the conversation, talk about what you do, just to start it off, and then we can get it going.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, let me give a shout out to everybody that's on the panel this morning. Music is just a part of my life.
Yeah.
And with Spur, I know Spur of the Moment has been around a long time. Matter of fact, I know your Cougars player. So
Kevin Prince.
Yeah, Kevin Prince.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys have been around a long time. But anyway.
Don't let Wayne's baby face fool you.
Yeah, I know. He
might be an immortal, actually. He might be an immortal.
I was in the eighth grade.
Yeah, but we're all moving in that direction. Thank the Lord. But anyway.
That's right.
What we do and what I do is I'm the administrator for the Excellence in Music Academy. And since 2011, I have been teaching artists how to build your music business foundation. Because what we see, especially at a time such as this, and dealing with royalties and publishing and so forth and catalogs, this is the time when, how they said, the chickens come home to roost, because a lot of artists do not have that foundation built. And especially in working, I don't want to just, throw a punch at my gospel folks, because those are my roots. But especially on the gospel side, that foundation is not there. When I talk about the music business foundation, I'm talking about making sure that your music is properly coded with the ISRC codes, the UPC codes, making sure that they're in all the databases, making sure you even tie it in with the new code that I guess it's been out for a little bit. It's called the ISNI code. It sounds a little bit like Disney when you say ISNI and Disney, but it's the International Standard Naming Identifier. So when you can Google that and pull it up, and you will see how all of that connects all of those codes together. And if your music does not have the foundation, it is not going to have the legacy. Yes, it can be good. It can grab us, make us move, and so forth. But when you get to this point, like Bruce Springsteen, for example, they paid him $500 million for his catalog, and his catalog is not that big. He don't have a whole lot of albums in the catalog, but it's the value of it. They paid $90 million to James Brown's estate just to buy into that catalog, so that they could build a museum, so people can come and go. But they got control of the music. The OJs had just sold the catalog. David Bowie, and the list goes on and on. And then you know what happened the other day? John Legend announced that he sold his catalog or parts of it. So that's what we are. But for the music creators that did not build that basic foundation, the value of your catalog is just not there. Because go ahead, Bob Bootsy. I'm sorry.
Now, just to really piggyback off this statement, the greatest publishing story that I've ever heard in my life. For some people who do know, I actually worked for Earth, Wind & Fire for actually 10 years. I worked in the office in Santa Monica, and everybody know that Ralph Johnson, who was one of the original members, the drummer, the song Cry, that song that Jay-Z had, he wrote in 1969. Ralph Johnson told me that publishing is musical real estate. You never know when the boom is going to come. Right. You never know when it's going to crash. You never know when it's going to, boom. He told me that he got a call one day from Def Jam, and he said that there were 4 versions to the song. The Song Cry version first was originally for the Whispers, and he said that, he didn't know how they found the ladies version. He told me 2 years ago, he has made more money off the Jay-Z song Cry song that he recorded in 1969 than all the money he made in Earth, Wind & Fire.
That is correct.
Shows you right there the value of having your publisher. The other thing that Maurice White, when I worked with Earth, Wind & Fire, he used to always tell me, documentation beats conversation. You know what I mean? He used to always tell me that. You better make sure it's documented. These tools.
Put that
Mr.
on
Harris,
a t-shirt.
Man, these tools you dropping.
Tony was telling you that too.
Bootsy.
Yeah.
Bootsy,
you know what
the bar of the morning so far. He introduced it, but Bootsy, that damn story.
Yeah, but he's correct. So what we teach the artists, when you go into the studio, you know, you're all excited and happy. You better take a notebook in there with you. You take a notebook in the studio with you. You write down everybody that's on that song.
That's right.
Whether they're a union member, you know, AFM, most artists are not members of the American Federation of Musicians, okay? They can care less, but they get a piece of your contract whenever you get signed to anybody. And a lot of artists, they don't understand that. I'm not a member of the union, but I got to pay a part of my contract gets paid to the union anyway. That's so that they can be the caretaker of the AFM unclaimed royalties. If you pull up that website, there are thousands of musicians and artists on that website with unclaimed money just sitting there. You know why? Because the revenue trackers are not in place. I could create a business just tracking down folks and telling them that they got money because it's just sitting there. So that's what happened a few years ago. And Bootsy, most of us who do this consistently will know this. When they came out with the Music Modernization Act, they set up what they call the MLC, okay? Mechanical Licensing Collective. And the purpose of that collective is this. All of your streaming money from Spotify, Apple, and all of those other DSPs, which we call digital service providers, all of that revenue goes to the MLC. If you don't become a member, the law says, of the Music Modernization Act, the law says, if you don't become a member, after the first year, they can divide your royalties up to the people who are members.
What?
Wow.
How do you like that?
Yeah.
Bootsy, am I telling the truth?
Hold on. He is 100% right. Also, and let me tell you another thing why you should listen to what Mr. Harris is saying. Because since the invention of streaming and all these different musical streaming platforms, the laws change yearly. Like there could be a law in place that was 2 years ago. It changes so much that you need a Mr. Harris because the evolution, the way they're going to be distributing the money, you know, every year YouTube may give you more, and every streaming service have different rules and guidelines as well. So this is why what he's saying is so important, is because if you don't have nobody watching it or keeping you up to date, you don't know actually what you're missing. Also, internationally, when you go outside of America, the whole streaming laws are different. So the thing is, the laws are evolving so much, the rules, the actual demographics and what you got to do to keep up. You need Mr. Harris so much. Please tell him, because a lot of people are dying without their royalties. A lot of people are dying broke. Now, I don't want to say one person, Black Rob.
Wow.
A few people, if they would have had their publishing and business and affairs, they might still be here without the burden of worrying where can they get their money at. Go ahead, Wayne.
That just reminds me of the story. One, everybody who records should and now stream should check Sound Exchange.
Yeah.
That was developed just for
say it again.
Streaming.
Sound Exchange. And the reason why they're good, not to cut you off, is because they kind of do a good job of handling everything for you. It's almost like a one-stop where you can start there and they can guide you to everywhere else. Go ahead, Mr. Harris.
Now, but the only piece to that though is that Sound Exchange, it has a demarcation point, and when we say demarcation point, the whole purpose of them, they were set up before the MLC, right?
Right.
The reason why they were set up was to collect. They are the internet cops.
Right.
They collect royalties from the internet. That's all they can only touch whatever's played online. But the difference is with the publishing, with Sound Exchange, you can get royalties from the sound recording and royalties from the publishing side, the writer side, okay?
Right.
Over the internet. But on terrestrial radio,
they won't have it.
There are no performance rights. Which means the artist has to say, well, my God, you know, I'm not even writing my songs. I got songwriters writing for me. Okay, you'll never get a dime from radio because on terrestrial radio, there's no performance rights. So you can only collect the writer's share, the publishing.
Right.
But the other thing is a lot of artists go through these distributors, Disc Maker, CD Baby, DistroKid, and all these other guys, right? In the box that they check, they said, I want you to be my pro publisher. Once you do that, you put them in the middle of collecting your royalties.
Lord Jesus.
Okay, once you do that, they collect your royalty, and then watch this. Then they want to hit you with 15%.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So
you can't. One other thing, Wayne, you cannot join the MLC if you have a pro publisher,
right?
Because they have to pay them. Right. The law says they have to pay the publisher. Then the publisher distributes to you. So while you're sitting back, okay, taking it easy, you don't even know if you're getting any money because CD Baby said, well, we're not going to pay them until the pandemic is over. Right. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Exactly.
So if you don't do this right, you won't draw anything.
You'll
Your
lose
legacy.
money.
That's
so
correct.
as Bootsy told a story, I was reminded of the story that 50 Cent tells about the producer who wanted $50,000 from the first.
Shaw Money.
Right.
Shaw Money.
Right.
Shaw Money. Yes.
And he chose to take $50,000 instead of $30,000 and a point.
Yeah.
Right. So what he did was, what did he sell? 1.3 billion out?
No. He sold over 10 million.
10 million.
So the point, he sold over 10 million.
$1 million.
Right. 1.3 million.
1.3 million, roughly.
It'd have been 1.3. Yeah.
So you settled for $50,000 when you could have got $30,000, which is, you know, you're gonna blow that the same on your jewelry bag. You're gonna put the jewelry bag. You might blow that on your watch in that in the hip hop.
And some Jordans.
You know, you shining on, but if you waited that year, you would have had $1 million. So it's just, I mean, a lot of poor decisions because we are not garnered with this information early enough.
That's correct.
Like this in financial planning and all should be in high school.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But see, the artists, here's what they're concerned with.
Henry, let me just hop in real quick. I saw Paul Porter. Paul, I was trying to send you the link. Paul, the link is out there. So Paul, if you can see the link up there, the StreamYard link, hop on.
The captain.
The Capitan.
You gotta
Paul
say
Porter.
Captain Paul.
The captain. Come on, Mark. Don't do it like that.
The Captain Paul.
No,
Porter.
what I was gonna say is,
and one more thing, Henry. I hosted or as a guest or a host with Henry, a conference that Henry does yearly. And Henry, we got to blow this thing up because what I'm realizing, even Henry, to be honest, even I wasn't realize. First of all, it's a hook. It's like America. It's a setup.
Right.
It's a setup, and the beauty of the setup is they get you in just enough to grab your paper, right? And so you're if it's a contract, if it's an agreement, if it's something you just clicked on, you basically gave away your money before you even got started. And so
that's correct.
Henry's going to talk about when the conference is, if you are a new musician or a old musician, because it's never too late, especially with the changing laws, as Bootsy said, and especially with technology, the metaverse and everything else is coming up. You need to get in with Henry so you can learn this and break him off something so he can.
Absolutely, because it's definitely growing pains with this. Because I started my music company in 2016, but it's just so much to learn. It's so much to know. It's so many things that I had already been through that I had to kind of get my way out of just to start moving forward, being able to put my own music out, etc. So everything you guys are dropping are jewels that I know independent artists and many other artists that may be signed wish they knew.
Right.
And good morning to Mr. Henry and Samantha and Mr. Wayne. Good morning. It's
Good
nice
morning.
to meet you guys virtually.
Nice.
But yes, this is some extremely important information that a lot of artists do not know. I mean,
And-
just on the basic level of, like Mr. Henry said, writing the names down when you're in the studio, writing the time down, how long you were in there, keeping
That is so key.
notes on that.
That is so key.
And
That
it's
is so key.
it's so key because as an independent artist, it's a lot, right? So people get overwhelmed. They get overwhelmed. They don't want to even deal with it. They don't even want to think about it yet. They don't understand. Like you said, this is where the money will come from, especially if you take it serious and protect yourself.
And so Henry, you want to go back to your point, but then Shannon, we want to come back to you because Shannon actually has been through that whole process. We see it; it's glamorous. You're on television. Gloria Estefan, people are talking about you, the next whoever, Whitney Houston, and blah 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 blah. But Shannon has been there, and she can share some of that story for those people who are watching, who everybody prays to be on those shows, but maybe not. So Henry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, the point I was going to make was some of these entities that are set up, they already have the idea that a lot of artists are not going to participate. They already know that because the two people that was lobbying on Capitol Hill to run the MLC came on a conference call that we had called Let's Talk Gospel. Comes on like Tuesday. So they came on the call and they told us about the MLC 2 or 3 years ago. Okay, they just kicked it off in 2020, right? January 2020 was their first year operation. Well, they told us it was coming. They said, hey, tell your people as soon as we open the membership portal to join. Well, what we have at this point, we have too many independent artists that's worrying about awards. They're worried about winning awards, Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, and they're not earning any revenue. They're not making any difference, so they didn't even join these organizations. So what happens, like I mentioned earlier, is that the mandate is there. The MLC felt, I guess they felt a little compassion for the people. They said, hey, we're going to wait 3 years before we institute that take the money rule, right? So this is the second year. So artist has another year. If you don't become a member, I'm a member. I have one song, but I had an artist do one song, right? But I joined the MLC. So that means that if Shannon is not a member of the MLC and she's earned all this revenue, after when they get ready to distribute it to the member people who are already members, I get a piece of Shannon's money, and I didn't write any of her music.
Right. And we don't want that.
Real. That's what I'm saying. We don't want.
Not at all.
We don't want that, but it's real.
Right.
It's real because of the Music Modernization Act, and none of us was sitting at the table. It's the folks that came from Nashville that said, "Hey, we'll run it. We'll run it." Well, so all of those and then let's talk about the people who suffer from the lack of royalties, right? Now, everybody knows that James Brown drummer Styx was the most sampled musician in the history of music, right? But he had a medical issue and he passed and he died broke. Wow. Now, Mark, let me say this. There's a documentary that was out. And you talked about Chuck D and all of them the other day. I remember that, Mark, right? But there's a documentary out called Copyright Criminal. If you are an artist, you should go on YouTube.
It's an amazing documentary. Yeah.
It's the Copyright Criminal because you got a lot of artists out here say, hey, I'm going to sample Spur of the Moment. I'm going to sample them and put them on my track. You don't know what you're doing because a lot of groups have been sued and shut down because of a 2 or 5 second sample. If you take anything from somebody's music, you got to get a mechanical license. If you don't, they will get it in the end because these folks ain't playing out here. We had a gospel artist affiliated with us that wanted to turn one of Christopher Cross's songs, Sailing. You know, you probably heard Sailing. He turned it into Praise Him. Okay, he turned it into that, right? Christopher Cross wrote him a letter and said, hey, I don't want my song affiliated with that. Now you can take, if a song is recorded, you can do. There's a certain type of mechanical thing that you can go ahead and redo it, right? But as long as you pay. But if the artist comes back and say, "Hey, you changed the character of my song," then you got to shut it down. So he told him, pull all your CDs off the shelves, take it off the album, do everything, because I don't want to be affiliated with gospel. That's the type of artist Christopher Cross is. So they shut it down. So you can't sample. This is real. Right. That's why we teach artists the business of music and not just being the best musician. It's okay to be a creator and have quality content, but if you don't know this music business, once you put that barcode on it, it's all fair game.
Yeah.
So Wayne, let me hop in real quick. We got, ladies and gentlemen, one of the top voices in America, ladies and gentlemen. Now, in the DC area, we know him as the Capitan. We know him as the Capitan.
The captain.
The world knows him. And don't, since he's retired to Florida on a boat, he's not been seen in DC that often. Since he's landed a huge voiceover contract for a movie we cannot talk about, he is not being seen publicly. But ladies and gentlemen, he joins us, except on Clubhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, my brother from another mother, but we've never met each other in person, but we talk like we've been knowing each other for a million years. My man, Paul Porter, ladies and gentlemen.
Man,
ladies,
listen
please.
to that nice intro, man. Thank you.
Paul, the legend.
You know what you forgot to say,
captain.
Huh?
You know what you forgot to say? That Paul Porter just did my shit for free.
That's right. Paul Porter, you heard his warm, deep tones on my intro, and Paul knocked it off for free. Also, let me just say this, for those of us who know Paul Porter, soon to be rescheduled to speak at Harvard. It was all right. COVID messed it up. The devil tried to stop Paul from speaking from Harvard.
I got there once.
Oh, okay, all right. Sorry,
that
my bad.
was my second trip. Yeah.
Hold on.
As you can see, I try to cop the voice, the low tone thing.
Hold on. But Mark, one thing is, his book is amazing. If you guys have read his book, if you want to do music or radio, go read this man's book.
That's right.
Please.
That's right.
Go read Paul Porter's book.
Soon to be a movie. We are taking votes on who should pay Paul Porter in the movie. Ving Rhames is the leader at this point.
Yeah, but I let my hair grow for the last 2 years, man. Shit.
So, Wayne, you were going to say a point, and then let Paul talk to us. But Wayne, what were you saying?
So I want to come back to Clyde Stubblefield is the drummer he's talking about.
Yeah,
and everybody should just learn the history of James Brown. It's the history of American music, you know. And Clyde Stubblefield, one of the drummers, actually he's considered the funky drummer. So
the original funky drummer.
Right. The original funky drummer. So, but I want to say that, I was one of the people who was an advocate for the MMA, through my position at the time with the Grammys, with the Recording Academy, and sitting on the advocacy committee. That legislation is just a start of trying to get it. I mean, if we enacted the full legislation, we would be getting performance rights from terrestrial radio.
Right.
I mean, but sooner or later, either terrestrial radio is going to die, or we're going to get performance rights. This is one of the two.
It's got to happen either way, right?
Yeah, it's going to happen either way.
And shout out to Kathy Hughes, who's been blocking that, by the way. Shout out to Kathy Hughes, a woman of the people, but she's
reality radio.
Yeah, reality radio, and she's acting like we ain't paying attention.
Right. Hey.
Reality radio. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What happened?
There you go.
No, I got.
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter.
So,
of course you're not.
I'm not bitter.
No, we just. Bitter. I mean, we just.
I think. Brother Henry makes a point that, one, we're born creators. I say this to Mark all the time.
Yes.
We're born creators.
Absolutely.
It is our first gift. And the people who remember that, I mean, we're not able to create humans until we like 13 or 14, but we could create everything else. If we remember we're creators, we could create in any vein, music, arts, entertainment, I mean, video, it translates. That is a translatable skill. But what's also a translatable and transferable is learning business,
right?
Learning how the dollar flows in and out. So at the end, you'll have something in your bin. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll have your pot of money, and everybody should be getting paid fairly, because we haven't been getting paid enough
as it is
historically.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so many. The stories are endless, man. The stories are endless. I mean,
that's right.
From getting paid, Cadillac Records, that they took
Everybody got a
liberties with
Cadillac.
the truth, but that was real life. I mean, I helped Muddy Waters' daughter, pointed her in the right direction so she could get his likeness back, his music back. They could find $3 million that they had stolen, $3 to $5 million. Now, just think about that. He died in somewhere in the 80s. Just think about what that could have meant to some of his family members in his estate.
Right.
Just think about that money.
Now, also about the Muddy Waters thing is, people do not know that Maurice White was the studio drummer at Chess. He told me that Muddy Waters A&R'd everybody's project. He said that they would sit there and wait for him to come in and piece the song together. That nobody moved, nothing happened until Muddy Waters got there. Because if you see in the movie, you would see him in the bar, and then they came over and he would like tell you, but they was like every day they waited for him. That they would just sit behind the instruments and nothing came out without his hands on it. So basically, essentially, he produced everything on there. Literally.
So
Muddy Waters did.
So she had, his manager had, I believe the contract had ended 4 years before Muddy died, but the guy remained the manager and took all the money for years. And it's a attorney here who's also a professor at American University, John Simpson, who was the first.
He was the
first
founder
president of Sound Exchange.
Sound Exchange, yes.
He started Sound Exchange. So my relationship with John allowed us to help Mercy get Muddy Waters' rights back to the family.
And Wayne,
Paul, I think us old school radio guys, we kind of realize now that we got to a degree, as far as, we were in a generation where we did know the artist, right? We knew the artist, we had a relationship with the artist, and the company benefited from our connection to the community and connection to the artist. And then, of course, once they used you up and they kicked you out like a used cigarette, but it wasn't until you got to a certain age when you realized that you were a part of it and all of the games that go on. And that's the beauty of your book. The beauty of your book is really just shining the light on. And it's funny, a lot of people, I ran into a couple record reps, and I told you, Paul, who were mad at Paul. They were like, what you doing? What's he doing? They basically were saying Paul was not only like killing his career, but basically, he was acting as a bad actor to expose the truth.
That's what that's always what they say when the truth is being revealed, right?
So Paul, how has it been? I mean, how has it been? It seems like it's been received well from people in the industry now.
No. I'm happy. But I'm so happy that I did this book. And that was the problem when I read so many books. It was just some superficial Steve Stout type shit where you do this, boom, make $1 million and $1 zillion, and you come back and start United Masters, which is another goddamn lie. And you rob people a different way. And the one thing that I love about this conversation is what you're talking about here is music business.
Right.
And I've been dealing with groups and artists since 1977. Used to spend the weekends at Nina Simone's house in the 60s. I think people are just so naive now. This is the time when the words music business mean more than anything before you can get signed and sort of saved. But until people understand the business side, and I'm serious, it's like 95% of the people in the music who say they're artists don't understand the business, and that's why we get lost. And my book's a testimony. I didn't understand shit. I was just enjoying it. If I'm making 6 digits, I think I'm doing good. But now I should be living like Mark, and I'm not.
Right. I remember when I was 21 years old and I was working in Huntsville, and I was so young and naive. And the guy from Ichiban Records came in.
Oh wow!
On record day, right? And he said, "So tell me, how many records would it take for you to play, some blues artist?" And I had no idea what he was talking about. I said, "I'm sorry." He said, "How many records would it take?" And I was like, I didn't understand what he was talking about. So then he came back in the afternoon. He brought me one of those the cream bottle of cream drink. I forgot what the cream something, and he gave me a package. It was wrapped up. And then he left, and I opened it up, and it was like $600 in the package. But it was like he wanted me to play. It was like Clarence Carter or somebody. It was like, what? And I was scared. I just put it back in the box, and I just was like, I don't know what's going on. And then one time I got a mystery package from the Godfather. They just did the movie documentary on his wife who just got killed. Clarence Avant.
Yeah.
From the desk of Clarence Avant in Huntsville, Alabama, I got an envelope with like $1,200 in it. And I had no idea. I didn't know what was going on. And at the time I was making $14,000 a year. So I was like, $1,200 was like 3 paychecks. And I just put that aside, and I was just nervous. But it's like there's so much information from musicians to anybody in entertainment. It's just like you come in and you're just so stupid and you just have no knowledge. And like you said, before you know it, you could get caught up. My last story, and I'll share it with you guys. Paul would know the guy. Years ago, I was in LA to a conference, and Rocky Grossi, who actually was one of the record reps who went down with Frankie Crocker. At this point, he was an old man. I didn't know this. I'm 21 years old, and I had just ran into MC Hammer's brother, who I knew them right before the Can't Touch This came out. He played it on the phone for me and said, "Hey man, this is going to be a big record, right?" And I would see him at conferences, and nobody messed with them because they didn't have any hits, and I'd hang out with them. So at this LA conference, I ran into him right when MC Hammer hit and was heading to Japan, and I saw him in the lobby, and he shook my hand and just said, "Man, thank you," and put a wad in my hand. It was $900. I went up to the room, and I was like, again, I was looking crazy. I know I was looking crazy as hell. And when I came downstairs, I see Rocky Grossi. And Rocky, you know how when you feel guilty and you feel like whatever, he just stopped me. He said, "Hey kid, let me talk to you." I was like, what is it? he said, "Kid, let me just tell you something." He said, "Remember, all you have in this business is your reputation." I was like, huh? I thought he knew something, but he didn't. But it's like the industry, and from artists to, I guess, DJs, which will be extinct in a few years. There's so much information to know. There's so many people, so many gangsters who are out there snatching and taking money. But it's like Henry has a class, a system, a place, a space where if you are in this business, you need to connect with Henry, because at least you could learn, like Paul and Wayne and Bootsy just said, the business. Learn the business. Learn that first. Learn that first, because if you happen to be super talented, as a Shannon Ramsey, as a Samantha, if you're super talented, somebody's gonna take your money and take your talent. So
absolutely,
you
Mark.
need to know
Absolutely.
know the business first, and then the other piece, the talent's already there. The business is the part that I think.
Yeah, but that's exactly what you're saying, Mark. And there's some things like when you come in, like your talent, your gift's not going to leave you. People are so excited about the lights and doing what you love to do, what you see, the image that's portrayed of what happens when you're in the music business. But it's okay to sometimes just enter, learn the foundational piece like we were discussing with Mr. Henry, and then rely on your talent that's going to take you much further than if you enter without all that, knowing what to sign up for, certain things that are just essential before you actually jump in. Like Shannon was saying, a lot of people have growing pains that they wish they could come back from just because they were excited and they didn't, just have a moment to sit back and go through all of this before your talent can, launch you properly.
Yeah, absolutely, Samantha. What I will say is that I was definitely one of those young artists. I didn't really realize I wanted to really pursue music until I was about 16 years old. And so at 16, you just want to have fun. You just want to go in the studio. You just want to record. You just want to hear yourself come up with something creative and nice that you can let your friends hear, let your family hear, and then you go out and you put it out on however CDs back then it was. And you're not worried. You don't understand the fact that eventually, as I got older and I had to learn the hard way, you need the ISRC codes, and you have to make sure you register, with your copyrights.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you do these things. And listening to Mr. Henry is just like, sitting at the feet of this amazing great person who has all of these jewels, sitting at the feet of Buddha, if you will, like just taking in this knowledge from him. I really, really wish now, of course, I know a lot more of these things and I'm learning more every day. But I really wish someone would have taken the time because, not that anyone necessarily, people that were around me were good people. However, you can only take someone as far as you can go. Right. And so if you're surrounded by a bunch of people who have kind of dibbled and dabbed in the industry and they work a little bit with this person and a little bit with that person, but they don't really know the business of it all, which is why I think a lot of artists are starving. They're they're worn out. They don't want to do it anymore. I know I've given up about 1,000 times, right? It's also because they don't have the right people around them to educate them. And then nowadays you can go right on Google and type in what are the 5 top things I need to know about, copywriting my music. So it's definitely, this conversation is definitely necessary. I'm so glad that I get to meet, people like Mr. Wayne, Mr. Henry today, Mr. Paul, Bootsy, just to pick you guys' brain about, where I've come so far, and then just get any advice that I can get would be a blessing as well to share. Because I'm the type of person where sharing is caring and it's free. Okay. And
hey Shannon, tell us a little bit about, because I know that you were on one of those shows and you got to a good place and celebrities talk to you. Tell us about that experience, because as we watch it, it's so exciting, but it always seems like the contestants get caught up in some type of legal thing afterwards, and even the ones who win.
Right. So this was about 999th time I had given up. Right. So I was done with music. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. I was telling my husband, like, I'm good. I'm over it, and I was actually preparing to have our first child. And I was just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. It was just too hard. And then it was like, then I had to figure out the mistakes I made. Now I got to figure out the business on the back end. Right. So I was just like, I'm done. I get an email from someone named Shannon, who was a producer on the show, and they're like, well, we heard your music, you submitted this music, we'd like to hear more. And I'm like, I didn't submit any music. It was my husband had submitted the music to the show because he's believed in me since we were 14 and 16 years old. So he submitted the music. I got on the show for the state of Maryland. I was in the top 4 singers that made the show. It was called the Next, initially called The Star Next Door, which was going to be executively produced by Queen Latifah. And then they changed the name to The Next. And so there were 4 celebrity coaches, kind of almost like The Voice, a little bit before its time. And I was surprised by Gloria Estefan, who was my mentor. She stormed into my church on a Sunday morning and surprised the heck out of me. And so we went through that process. I didn't win the competition. However, I made the top 4, so I did make it to the show. And I'm grateful for that. But then there was really no blame to anybody, but there was no real, follow up after that. There was talks of certain things, or a single deal here, or you'll get, and we'll give you a little push here with that. But there was nothing, really, no real follow up, nothing really serious in regards to the shows and the producers, etc., on their end of it. And but yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. I got to meet Gloria Estefan. She came to my home and everything like that. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad that it worked out the way it did, because now I'm in control of everything that I do. And so that would have gotten me in a bind. And I know a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends who are just frustrated with being signed. They're frustrated with people telling them when to go, how to be, what to look like, your shelves, because now we're investing in another artist. And so, it was really important for me to go through that process. But I'm also glad that, hindsight is 20/20. And I'm glad that I can sit here today stating, like, I own my own stuff and I can do what I want to do when I want to do it. And now that I have Mr. Henry as a mentor, I can just call him. He can give me all the advice that I need. So yeah.
Well, I love the fact, and Shannon, you're excited about controlling your own, because you mentioned that a lot, and I love it, because I think it's like you said, it's like standing in your own presence, like controlling your own future, your own fate. And it's so all of us are on this path. As somebody. When you work for people, and again, Wayne and Bootsy, and we've all talked about this. Number one, understanding that the power of controlling your own and having your own. I mean, Wayne just built a whole just virtual world for his wife, and doing that. And it's so funny. I told you guys, I get to this point as a guy who worked in media. I start off like I started this show this week, right? This is the 3rd show. And I told Bootsy and Samantha this morning, I had an interview. And it's almost like, it's interesting, Wayne. It's like the universe, every time I try to step out and build my little thing,
right,
a job seems to come. And the question becomes, am I going to let it affect, so it's an interesting space to be in. So I'll let you guys know how that develops. But you guys have been on a long time, so let's go around. Start with you, Mr. Henry. And Henry, tell people how to reach you.
Real quick, Mark. I'm sorry. I just wanted to jump into what you said. Intellectual property is very important. And a lot of our people don't understand that. It's great to be signed. It's great. That's fine if that's what you want to do. There's no knock to that. However, you got to believe in the God-given ideas that you got to believe in that enough to kind of stand on that, because once somebody else takes it from you, you have no control of it, So just to piggyback on what you said, that intellectual property is very important, and everybody should understand it, especially as we are going into this virtual world.
Yes.
This new way of life that's actually happening right before our eyes. So I apologize for cutting you off, but I just think that's something very important.
And we're going to plug you. The metaverse is the next stage. We'll talk about that. And again, so I just want everybody to go around and, express our final shots. And then we'll play the Wayne and play Shannon. And also Samantha is also an artist. And Samantha, I play your song. If not today, I'll play it. Yes, she does it all. She does it all. So Henry, you start the ball rolling, and you have been, again, I think you've got 1 million new followers just because of the great information and your good looks, man. So
hey, I'll take it. Anyway, here's the thing. First of all, let me just say about the videos that you ran earlier. It would be nice if I could get copies of those videos, MP4s, because we have a Roku channel called SMP Network. I can take those videos and just put them on the live feed, and that way anybody in the world can see them because they are running on streaming television.
Oh,
So
that's
that's
awesome.
one thing. Now, the other thing is, and hopefully I can get Samantha to do some voiceover work for us to kind of spruce it up a little bit so we can be like Mark. You know, everybody wants to be like Mark. So anyway, so
I got the secret sauce, Bootsy
yeah,
and
he's got the
Samantha.
secret sauce. Yeah, he's got the
Go.
products out there. He's got the voiceovers. I'm like, you know, he multitasking. But anyway, when we talk about building your music business foundation, we have a program with the Excellence in Music Academy program. It's called Building Your Music Business Foundation. We start the class, this series of classes on January 26th. It's orientation. You can find more information about that class at www.strategicmp.org. So if you want to be a part of all of this stuff that we're talking about, please join us, go to the website, review what we're going to teach, and join the class. Now, I want to leave you with this. There's a gospel artist by the name of Tasha Cobbs. She has a great song called Break Every Chain, right?
Yes,
Break Every Chain. Everybody
Yeah.
loves that song. But in the business of music, you don't want any breaks in your chains. Okay? Because
Okay, I see what you did there, Henry.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Because if you you talking about breaking every chain on that side, that's okay. But you got to be like Nehemiah the wall builder. Okay, because the walls of the music business are crumbling. Okay, so you may sit in a particular place, like I was. I used to be the chairman. I used to be the president of the Stellar Wars Gospel Music Academy Advisory Board. So I was there. I was comfortable there. But I saw all of these independent artists trying to beat down the doors and all this other stuff. So I said, look, I need to come back to the community at large and be able to rebuild the walls that are crumbling, because the independent artists, you know, as quiet as it kept, a lot of them are undeveloped and underserved. Undeveloped and underserved because of this business, this music business part of it. You get that right, you can put it on autopilot and create all the music you want. You go into a studio to record a record. If that engineer cannot plug in your ISRC code in his console or her console and put in the UPC code and put in all the metadata, you need to pack your stuff and leave, because you can burn that information into your creative work at the very beginning. You can burn it into your masters. Once that master stuff is complete, you can't open that stuff back up and put it in, as far as I know. Maybe by now. Why do you think Facebook decided on the name Meta? Because metadata is so crucial. You can have one, and Mark knows radio, and Paul, most of us know radio, right? In radio, you have a system called the BDS monitoring system. It monitors every time your song is played. If you put a song in that system, if your song is "It Is Well," okay, "It Is Well," IT''S is, well, and then you start naming the song IT'IS, you don't get credit for that spin, because the data picks up the metadata, which is a systems of ones and zeros, just like this computer stuff we're talking on. Don't worry about that call. We get to them later. But if the system picks up a series of ones and zeros, you gotta have that metadata right. If that metadata is not right, you're not going to get credit on the royalties. You're not going to get the spend credit. You're not going to get the revenue. So you can't have any breaks in your chain, Shannon.
Right.
So if you have all of this foundation, so we go through it and we say, okay, do this, do that, do that, do that. Back to that MMA, that Wayne, I know he said the Grammys, and I'm a member, finally became a member, professional member as well.
Way to go.
So
They're letting y'all in now.
Yeah, they let us in. And look, it took two people to vouch for me just to get in. I'm like,
that's
man,
one of the
why?
one of
He
the
got to vouch
requirements.
for it. Yeah, he's all right. Let him in. Okay. So anyway, but if you don't have a certain amount of credits, that's another thing. You can't vote. Okay. I might be a professional member, but if I don't have 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever the credits is, I can't even vote for Shannon's song. So it's a system of checks and balance. So all I'm saying is thank you, Mark, for discussing this business of music because it is so crucial. And like Paul says about the radio people not liking him, there's a lot of people in this business that don't care too much for me because I'm telling you too much. Because I'm telling you, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. The reason why that another reason why that MMA came about and the Library of Congress washed their hands with the copyright, because they had thousands of notices of intent. You know what that is? Spotify said, hey, I'm playing your music, but I can't find you to pay you. That's where it all started. And they had thousands of notices, so artists would say, I don't know what this means. What does this mean? Do I need to tell them where I live? They didn't have your addresses. They didn't have your name. None of that stuff was correct. So if that foundation is not built, then you might as well just pay me.
Wayne, a fellow member of the committee, the two brothers. Go ahead. So Wayne, OG in the game, a music director for the Stars. Wayne does have a million stories because music director alone, working with celebrities, egos, musicians, artists.
Well,
Celebrities
yeah,
and
I do.
egos.
I won't tell them all here because I know we're at the end of the show. So I will say this. I will say this to any burgeoning artists or anybody coming up or any artist that's been in the game who hasn't. It's never too late to learn the business.
That's right.
Yeah.
Of music. It's never too late. It is not behind you. It is not. There's a purpose that you are getting the information at the time you're getting it. So you have to realize that there's purpose in everything. So if we're going to believe that, us creators, if we're going to believe we created in the image of a great creator, then we are creators. But there's never a bad time to learn about the business of your creation. It's never a bad time. So I want to say that. I also just want to encourage people, because we're in this time, we're talking about metaverse and all the other things, just to get out and touch the earth, go walk, go be a part of. Now I'm talking about 6 to 12 feet apart from somebody else, but go be a
Put a mask on.
Put a mask
you are
on,
aware,
okay?
and know that whatever studio you're in, whatever place you're in, is not the end all be all place. Also, create your own platforms.
Yes.
Mark, regardless of whoever pays you, still build your own. Just still build you're on the right track. There is no mistake here.
Right.
You're on the right track. You got the right people involved. You got Samantha, you got Bootsy, you got the right people involved, bro. So I want to encourage you, and thank you for having just reaching out and having me be a part of the Marc Clarke Media brand. You know what I mean?
Well, you are part of it, man. You my man,
Yeah.
and of course I hit Wayne like, hey man, can you come on in a minute? Great, thanks.
Yeah. In that. Then I had to go put on, I got on Zoom pants, so I had to go put on the shirt and put my hat on. And then
dress up from the neck up.
Right.
Dress up from the neck up.
If only people could see what was
got
below the camera, right?
I got the whole camera placement. So I'm scrolling around, zooming in. You won't see that dirt over there. Oh, that's a guitar case in the way. So look, and I want to continue to encourage you, man. Just keep building and don't be scared, because you are purposed to do this. I want to encourage people, don't be scared to follow your dreams. There's nothing to be scared of.
That's true.
That's
We know that. We know that,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
So that's it. That's it.
Shannon Ramsey. Don't let her smile fool you. You know what, Shannon? What was great when your video we're gonna play, but when you said we're family in that video, and I played the package on television, it felt like you meant that from your heart, and I just had to smile because that was just a blessing. Then I met your family, and I see why. Shannon got a banging family.
Listen, my family is huge. It's a whole
lot of
lot.
Oh, you know.
I walked up on her. I actually walked up on her at your event and told her how much I loved the music. I was listening to her the day before, and it was a lot of them.
Listen,
and let me just and you know what? Let me just say this because I need to get this cleared up because I want to say how amazing Shannon's husband is.
Oh,
because those who know me know that sadly, Wayne and Henry, I am now the dad jokes guy now, and I didn't realize I was. But you know how with dad jokes, Samantha, what happens is you said something so many times that you say it and don't even realize you're saying it, right?
Right.
So we're at the event. Shannon killed it. Of course, Shannon is beautiful, but she's like my little sister.
Thank
you. Her husband, Wayne, we're out back by the cigars. I say, man, your wife puts the ass in class. What?
So what did he do? Drop the cigar?
I smell.
He dropped the
Did I
cigar.
step in?
Wayne,
Did I step in
you know
that?
how you say something, but your mind is like, what are you doing?
In Marc comedic fashion, and my husband was
he was cool.
He's a class act.
I apologize, but I was like, Lord Jesus, he could have just like punched me in the mouth, and I would have been like, yep,
yeah,
I deserved it.
But you know, you can one thing you do gain from being in this business, if you're smart enough, is a spirit of discernment, right? And because you gotta know who the snakes are. And I want to shout out Gary Groove, who's in the chat as well, because he always says a snake will hiss. You just gotta listen. You know, and so if we thought that there was any type of malicious or malice or any type of shadiness coming from you, we didn't get that. We didn't get that.
Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
And honestly, there's so many people that know you, and the story is consistent, Mark. The story is consistent. You're a good guy. You're an upstanding guy. You know what I mean? You keep your word.
Wayne,
and so real recognizes real.
We'll put a foot in
Wayne,
He definitely did.
That's the charm. That's
he
the charm.
definitely did.
I think Allison might have kicked me in the balls after that. I think she might have.
He definitely did, but you know, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He gets a bad dad joke pass. Okay,
thanks, Shannon.
That one pass. He gets that one pass.
I did call Shannon and say, look, because when you have a great event, you be like, it was perfect, and then it was like,
I meant the class part. I needed something to rhyme with class.
Right.
It was quick.
So Shannon, aside from that, for parting words, what do you have for us? Because you've been the young artist. You are the young artist. You've been the artist who've been taken advantage of. You've been the artist now, the independent artist. Give us a good word for those who are watching.
So I know it's a lot, listening to how, the business is being ran and what's actually happening with a lot of policy changes. I know it can be a lot for the artist that's watching right now, the independent artist that's watching right now, even maybe the signed artist that's watching right now. For me, you really have to put things in perspective. Are you doing this because, like for me, am I doing this because I want to hear my name being cheered at the end of the night? Am I doing this for the fame? Or am I really doing this to set up some type of generational wealth for my family? I'm doing this because I love music. God just put it in me, right? And I don't necessarily consider myself a gospel artist, right? Because my first love is R&B music. But I feel like God put music here, all genres of music here, for all of us to enjoy. So as a typical artist, I don't like boxes. I don't like genres. However, You know, doing this, I do this because I love it. I do this because I have a passion for it. And as I get older and I am creating a family, I want to leave something for my children to be proud of. You know what I mean? I want them to be able to say, you know, my mom, she did this with, you know, the help of my dad. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. You good?
Can you hear me, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yep.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She can't hear us.
Okay, good. Okay. Sorry. I had a call coming in. But I want my kids to know that, you know, my mom left this here for us. And so what I'll say to you is, yes, you should learn the business. You should get that foundation. You should study your craft. You know, I still take vocal lessons to this day. Shout out to my vocal coach, Ridley Chauvin. Them Be More Cats, my band. I practice. But the one thing I do really want to say to you is just never give up. Never give up. Regardless of what's happening, believe in yourself, believe in your gift, believe in your talent. Of course, I'm having technical difficulties now. But never give up. If God has put something in your heart, I don't care if it's hip hop, R&B, gospel music. If God has placed something in your heart, a vision, he's going to make the provision for it. And he's going to place the right people in your path that are going to lead you in the right direction. They're going to lead you in the right direction. And for me to be a part of this conversation today is an amazing blessing. It's nobody but God. Mr. Wayne said something earlier about, you know, Mark, this being destined for you. I really believe that. And I believe that me being on this call was destined to gain additional knowledge. Some of the things that Mr. Henry said today, I knew of, but didn't know in depth. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely a teachable leader. You know, I'm a person that wants to continue to learn and continue to grow. And I want to make my mark in this, but not because I want to do it for show or clout, but because I really believe this is my purpose. I believe it's my purpose to help people heal through song. And so if you're an artist out there and you want to go for it, the one thing I'm going to tell you is just do it. Start, do it. Get on Google. If you don't have anybody you can call and type some stuff in about what's important to know about the music business and start building your foundation. Your house cannot stand if your foundation is cracked. Everything everyone said on here today is very, very important. In the music business, it's 10% talent and it's 90% business. So never give up. Keep pushing for your dreams. It's not beyond you. You can get this. You can gain the knowledge. Once you get it, you got it, and you can pass it on to someone else. And so I'm just really grateful to be here today, Mark. I just want to thank you. The Reinventing Marc Clarke that train is moving, and it is going far beyond that you will ever imagine. And I just thank you for having me here today. And I want to thank all of my supporters, my family, and my fans. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you guys were all great words, Shannon. You guys will all know I will be calling y'all last minute on many projects. So
I'm about to put this dollar in the collection plate because she was prophesizing on here.
Well, you know, Shannon's the minister now. Don't get it twisted. You know that. You heard it.
I'm about to put this dollar in the collection plate.
She was about to go.
So delayed reaction.
She recorded that to make sure she got that. So she could
here we go. Right. And so now the baby of the bunch. Now she's tired of being called that. Samantha. Samantha, you know what? I look at you and I just see like just like Shannon. Y'all those people, like I call my wife and the girl, naturals. You guys are probably just good at everything you do. Just pretty much give them an assignment and they're gonna knock it out. And I say that only because everything I've seen you guys do has been amazing. Samantha, production, voiceover, music, singing, and a mom, you got babies, you know, wife. And so, you know, again, Samantha and Bootsy we're gonna figure out at the end of the day if we're gonna be on. If they're gonna be on with me every day, gonna be on with me most of the time, some of the time, whatever. But you will be seeing Bootsy and Samantha as part of this whole journey. But Samantha, any parting words?
I do, and I want to first start off by saying thank you, Mark. This is, like you said, beyond what I expected. Just so grateful to be a part of it and to be amongst, you know, Wayne and Henry and Bootsy and Shannon. I appreciate you guys, but it's something that we've all touched on. But I'll end with a similar note, just saying that I think that everyone should be in tune to their why. You know, that's something that's big for me. Like, why do you want to do this? Why are you entering the music business? Same thing. We all been through the ups and the downs and, I don't want to do this anymore. But when you really hold to that purpose, that thing that God put inside you, know that when you enter, because then the path will be much clearer. You know what to say yes to, you know what to say no to, because you're more in tune to yourself and what God has placed inside of you, as far as knowing how you really want to navigate this business. And it'll be more clear when things arrive to you. And so I've always been an advocate for like just music, but especially my songwriters. And so it's just something that I'm so grateful to be amongst the wisdom on this panel, and to build the relationship of knowing that there's people that are in our community that have the same passion and knowledge for sharing a wealth of knowledge. You know, it's the same information that we want to take in and that we've gone through, we want to share with other people. And I'm just excited for the top of this year. Like I said, I've said it ad nauseum, but I was like, this will be the best year ever, not just for me, but I see the growth that's happening, and I see the desire for change, and I see the desire for better. And I really believe that the faith is different. You know, you hold on to that faith, you hold on to that dream, like everyone was saying, and you really hold on to that why. And God, like, same thing, Mark, like we joked just really quickly, Bootsy and I were joking yesterday about the theme idea and different things we want to do. And we're like, it sounds like all these things that are now manifesting. But like we said before too, these are happening because something wants to get you off of that train. It's like, nope. My grandmother always says you don't have this position because that's somebody else's job. You don't have that because that's somebody else's. You're building this platform that's yours, and it's beautiful just in these, you know, few days. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it. And you have the community, you have everyone just rooting for you. So I'm just blessed and excited to see what we'll do, not just the six of us, but the impact we'll make because of the passion and what we want to share with others. And it's going to be a better community, a better world, better music business, you know, all and above because of it. So this has been great.
Can I just jump in really quickly? I know we're closing, but what Samantha just said is so important. On October the 7th of 2020, I woke up, I had gotten a download, right? Mm-hmm. And God had given me the vision for my album, which is titled Manifest. Mm-hmm. But the first thing I wrote down on October the 7th of 2020 was, remember your why. Because I knew that the battle that I was going into, that was going to be the only thing that kept me to make it to the end of finishing that album, because I recorded the album in the height of the pandemic. I was going to the studio every night, and I wasn't going till about 8 or 9 p.m. at night. So I had to make sure work was done, kids were fed, school, homework, bath, bathe, dinner, then go to the studio in the middle of a pandemic. And I knew that if I did not remember the reason that I started the process, I would give up in the midst of it because I had no foundation. But I knew that if I remembered the why, it would get me to the end. And yes. I'm on the other side now of doing this EP. And we're still in the height of a pandemic. But I found something deep within myself that this pandemic I'm grateful for, because it showed me that I'm resilient and I can do it. And so it is very important what she said. Remember your why. That will continue to push you. And I don't know if we're all parents here, but that's one thing you could, when you think about your children, when you think about, the legacy that you're going to leave behind. For me, my why is who I am, who God says that I am, what God says that I am supposed to be doing. And so I wrote that down on October the 7th of 2020, and my alarm goes off every morning before I go to the gym and it says when that loud sound goes off and startles you and wakes you up before you hit snooze, it says remember your why. And then I don't hit snooze and I get up and I go in the cold to the gym. I do everything I need to do during the day. I make it to the studio, and now I'm on the other side of my new debut album, Manifest. So thank you for reminding me again, Samantha. Remember your why.
Which is, by the way, y'all, I'm telling you, the album is a banger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, let me tell you something. Bootsy Vegas has stared down death. He has stared down groupies from Earth, Wind, and Fire. He has stared down the smell of Verdine White Fresh from a press. He stared down... he stared down Philip. Okay, that's enough. I wanted to hit that one.
Dad joke.
Let the dad jokes. Come on.
Come on, dad
Just
joke.
let it
Come on.
out,
But at the end of the day,
today is my husband's birthday too.
Oh, happy
Today
birthday.
is his birthday.
there we go. And you know what I will say about everybody here, and I just say, and I notice like the energy. You know, on social media, when people be like, you can tell people be like, they're angry and they're mad and they're around a lot of bad people because they always be saying stuff like, you know, like the young gentleman who got taken out in Memphis, with Dolph.
Young Dolph.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, that picture of the guy that was in a circle that took him out, and everybody's like, you gotta watch out who around. You gotta, the people closest to you, the ones you can't trust. And I was just like, man, I have not had that energy in my life. I guess because I don't really.
But you don't live that life, Mark.
I don't. But I'm just saying, from a standpoint of the people that are around me, I love and trust. You know what I mean? I have not. I'm 55. I have not really been stabbed in the back or in the butt by people. But people I'm around, I pretty much can go to sleep and feel 100% safe with. Maybe that's just my strategy. I don't know. But that's been my experience, and that's what like right now, you guys right here, I don't have any concerns.
Get what you give. You give the love and the support, and the universe and God blesses you with the same back to you.
I don't have no concerns about y'all. You know what I mean? I better watch Bootsy Vegas. I don't know about Wayne. No, it's just, and so
these impressions are great.
And so Bootsy, Bootsy has become my brother. And it's like, okay, all right, let me stop right now and get emotional. Anyway, Bootsy,
come on, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark's a crybaby.
Wrap up the show. Right, wrap up the show, Bootsy, before I play jams.
Yeah, so what I want to say as we end, I just want to say that Bruce was right about you keeping this going, because one of your many gifts is you're able to attract a group of people and demographics that would never be in contact with each other. Like, even when I look at everybody here, I'm like, oh, wow, this is amazing. And it takes special people. So no matter what's coming your way, please keep in mind that you should be building this, because you're able to attract a group of people that would probably never come together and interact in no form. And it takes a special person to do that. So please keep that in mind, because I can't wait to pick Mr. Harris' brain, and I can't wait to pick Wayne's brain. The minute this is over, I will be reaching out to you guys. Okay, cool. so two things as we.
Me too.
No, like, I'm really gonna be calling Mr. Harris. Like, it's gonna be pretty quick. I'm gonna get on the phone with him. But I just want to say this: as we leave, remember the jewels that we've learned. Remembering your why. The other thing is documentation beats conversation. If it is not documented, if it's not on paper, then it's not really in existence. Documentation beats conversation. The last thing, and I think that Mr. Harris was really spot on about this, and what the lesson we learned today is evolution is undefeated. The way we consume music, the way you get your royalties, the way you distribute your music, it is ever evolving. Evolution is undefeated. You can look at Mr. Harris, who's probably the most wise, oldest man on here, but he probably knows more about streaming.
He meant it as a compliment.
You should have stopped at wise.
It was a compliment.
I'm sorry. He probably has more experience in the music business, but he's the most knowledgeable about streaming and all these other things. And it goes to show you that somebody that has done what he's done still at this stage in his life, he knows more about streaming than probably the average young person. That is because evolution is undefeated.
Yeah.
And the testament is you have to understand that everything is evolving and you better get in front of it, because if you don't, it could cost you in the end. So evolution is undefeated. Documentation beats conversation. Remember your why. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
One last thing, Mark. I want to pick incredible words. One last thing. Remember to change your smoke detector battery.
Mm.
Is that me?
You know?
Who's beeping?
Somebody.
No. Also,
Carbon monoxide.
Yeah, carbon monoxide. But also, don't forget to get. Let's help control the pet population. Please go get your dog spayed and neutered.
Thanks, Bob Barker.
Is this the price is right?
Go get back.
Is this the price is right?
Yeah,
I
it is,
remember
right?
that watching with my grandmother every
I was not
day.
expecting that from Bootsy, actually.
That's
He just
hilarious.
needs the long microphone.
Okay, so I would do Shannon, and then we'll do Spur of the Moment, and we'll wrap it up. You guys want to stay and watch? You guys get out of here.
Yeah.
Make sure I get a copy of those videos. I need those videos so I can put it on the Roku channel.
I got you.
We'll
And
do
you
it.
know what? Shout out to like you said, Shannon, the Baltimore Cats. Shout out to Gary Groove. So this is what I love about y'all too, because you know I am last minute.
Oh yeah,
So,
there'll be more cats. Yeah.
I'm on TV. I'm on TV and on Fox and DC. I'm trying to get Shannon on before the break, before they kick a brother off. And so I'm like, yo, Gary, I can interview Shannon. We interviewed already, but I need the video. And so Shannon, which y'all shot the video once, and I think you weren't happy with something, and then you guys shot it again, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're still working on the official music video.
Okay. And so
yes.
this is not official. This wasn't even an official music video, but what got me was I loved it. I loved it. And I know Shannon, I know you are very
It's not a good thing, Mark.
You know, you're very and so I said Gary, and Wayne knows this is Mr. Producer. So I hear Gary like, yo, it's dope. And then Wayne, and then Gary's like, yo, please tell Shannon. I didn't know what that meant, but I knew what that meant. So it is dope.
It meant
Shannon.
I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my.
And so
there you go.
Right. This was put together in the spur of the moment, but it looked great on television. And Shannon, I knew it was special because at the TV station, when they normally do the DMV sound check, they'll play a clip and keep it pop. Your thing played like 3 times. So, you know, throughout the morning. So congratulations. And again, the album is Manifest.
Yes, Manifest.
And I'm
it
telling
drops
you,
it is going to drop in 2022.
It's amazing. I've heard the project, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You've heard it's 8 songs. It's 23 minutes. My producers is King Midas. Josh Lay was my co-write with me on this, and writing this project was very personal to me. Some of these lyrics and songs I've had for years, and it finally came together in this project. And when you see the cover, which you see the back cover, and people have been asking me, so I just want to say, the reason why I have on skates, right, is because when I was a little girl, I used to skate through the street that I took the picture on, 27th Street, 27th and Greenmount in Baltimore, Maryland. And I used to skate. Me and my cousins used to skate through the street. We would write our own songs, and we would imagine that we were in music videos. And so it took me about 3 or 4 photo shoots to get to this point. Shout out to Ross Media Group, my guys that helped me get this done. And then we finally got it. I was like, Manifest. I have to take it back to where I birthed these dreams, where I birthed this work. And now you have Manifest, 27th and Greenmount on skates.
I love it. And then Shannon, you say walk it out. Just explain that lyric in the song.
So, you know, the scripture, we don't walk by sight, we walk by faith, right? You don't see it. It's intangible, which makes it a little bit more difficult because a lot of things are easier said than done. And so if you can't see it, they don't believe it, you know? And I didn't believe that I could actually do this until I really saw Brandy on TV, you know? And so I saw a lot of people doing what they had to do versus what they loved to do. And so what I had to do as I grew up, I had to create my own relationship with God. I knew there was something greater than what I could see. I knew there was something beyond me that was going to help me get to the other side, because I knew there was something more for me. And so as I developed my relationship with God, you know, I began to understand that I have to see beyond what I can see. And so it's not about, you know, what's in front of you. It's about moving forward. It's about continuing to walk it out. You just got to show up. You just show up. That's half the battle. The teachers tell you in college, if you just show up, okay, it might be why I got through. But if you just show up, it's half the battle. So continue to walk it out. Don't look at what's to the left or the right. Faith is about the unknown. It's about believing in the greater, in God. Yeah. Whatever you may call God, I don't, you know, this album is not to exclude anyone from any faith. It's a spiritual album, but it's heavily R&B influenced, because that's my first love. My dad introduced me to that. So yeah, it's about walking it out. It's about just walking by your third eye, your faith, your faithful sight in God. And just keep walking with him and let him do it.
Yeah. Let go.
What's up, world? You rocking with me today. I'm your girl, Shannon Ramsey. And these are my guys, them be more cats. And you are now family. So y'all gonna take this walk of faith with us, right? Yeah. Big shout outs to my executive producers, King Midas, Josh Lay, to the natives. And just a blind girl, I can't see my eyes, just don't know, I don't know. I'm looking with my heart, it's nowhere else to go but up. Lead me, yeah, oh come on. It's all you got. Hey, come on. Without you, would I ever? Come on, hey. Oh, nah, I say no faith. Come on, y'all. When you're walking out, you walk it out, yeah. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, my, I say no faith. Here comes y'all, listen. Come on. It's falling just like quicksand. I'm covered in floods, and he still loves me. A heart of gold that you will never find here. Trust me, I know. Lead me, oh come on, yes. It's all you got. Hey, without you, so why would I ever? Come on, hey. Hey, oh nah, na 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 na. You know they come when you walk it out, yeah. Oh nah, I say no faith. Walk it out. Break it down, y'all. Listen. They come. Oh na 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 na. You know they come when you walk it out, yeah. You know that they come. Oh no na 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 na. You know they come. Listen, walk it out. You walk it out.
Thank you.
Go do that temptation walk on that. Where you
Listen,
walk
so
around.
I wanna dance.
Shoot.
Yeah. Do the temptation walk on that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Shoot.
And Faith will be the first single. It's in, and we're actually just finished the treatment for the video. So I really appreciate you, Mark, for showing our performance video. Shout out to my guys again, Them Be More Cats. And I'm just grateful for Gary for putting us together.
They was killing.
Thank you so much.
Mark, you're muted. You're muted, Mark. You on mute. Come on now. Oh wow,
And he's
now he's done.
And he
All right.
and he removed himself from the program.
Okay, so I'm in charge now. I'm in charge. Oh.
He's back.
I'm the captain now.
And so the artists that are watching, that's Gary Groove's practice space.
Yes.
And so that's in Baltimore. If you're a band, if you're a group, if you're, he's got it. It's on and popping. And it's so interesting because I was talking to Gary. Oh, Gary's right there. Shout out to
Gary's
right there.
In here. Hey, Gary.
In the rehearsal space. Because it's interesting, Gary, music director over the years. Gary, I've known him, and then Wayne, I've known. And it's funny, you guys are interesting. Y'all be having that technical stuff down. You be having the equipment. You kind of like borderline geniuses on all kind of very interesting collectors and stuff. Y'all be having stuff. So
and he just got cameras in there last night, so now you can stream live while you're practicing, while you're performing. He's made it very accessible for artists to reach their audience.
I was talking to Gary Groove and my friend who's a delicious beverage, businessman, entrepreneur. And Gary said some very artistic stuff. And my friend was like, you need to talk to your boy. Gary was like, yeah, man, this ain't about making money. This is for the arts, man. This is for the artists. And my friend was like, who is that?
Why you got him down packed like
you
that?
You can do it both, though. You can do it both. You can. And I think Wayne is Mr. No, Wayne you ain't gonna step in Wayne's space with no. You coming off the cash, but again, that's the spirit. That's the spirit of my brother, Gary Groove, who
amazing guy.
With them cameras in there now, he gonna throw some.
That's a beautiful spirit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That is. I mean, it's also get that bag.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, even though they're 35 miles up the road, we're working on a space down here too. Okay. So,
okay. All right.
Hey, Joe Sims and Salvation Group and all of them guys. So we're working on something too. We're trying. You definitely need that rehearsal.
For everybody.
We need that. Yeah, it's room for everybody. You definitely need that rehearsal space, especially when this pandemic is over and everybody will want to hit the stage. They got to be ready. You can't come out there like you ain't been doing a rehearsal.
That's right.
Look and see, Henry taking it old school. Henry got get these rehearsals going and popping.
Opportunity and preparation. Opportunity and preparation. That's luck. That ain't it's nothing but opportunity and preparation. Got to be prepared.
That's right.
And Shannon, the fire, people say they hear the fire through that voice. They can feel that fire through your voice. So that's what I'm talking about. All right. So
thank you.
Wayne, first of all, are you in a foreign country? This video, I look like I spent my money.
I want to know where it was too. I need to go.
It looks exotic. It looks
and
exotic.
Also, I like Wayne's outfit. As Wayne knows, us big guys, when you see us in an outfit, we done spent some money. Ain't no cheap way to get around a nice outfit.
Money. No, I'm just kidding. So we actually filmed this. This is from the record by the same name, Into Deep. And the song is about in the middle of recording a record, people quit on me. And my whole process when I started talking to Levi was it took me, a little bit to get a rudder straight. But every time I questioned myself, I set myself back. And so now I had to look at what faith had brought me. And every time I put my foot down and put it on a rock that is solid.
That's right.
That is my faith. I was able to go forward. So I was already in too deep. I couldn't stop. And so we in too deep into our lives that we should not stop, that we should keep going. So it's not meant to be spiritual. You could take it any way you want, but it was about life. And actually it's in a movie. Some of the clips are from the movie that it was in called Crew with
Keith Robinson. I saw Keith Robinson, right?
That was Keith Robinson. Mm-hmm.
I was like,
shout
wait a
out.
minute.
Let me say this though. Just jump in. Shout out to Levi Stevens, who is one of the most accomplished songwriters. A lot of people don't know Raheem's first album, Believe in Me, that first hit. He was the songwriter for a lot of Raheem's first album. Me and Levi have done a lot of work, but he's a great brother, and I always call him the Black John Mayer. I've been calling him that for like 10 years now.
So it's incredible because you had heard about Levi, and a cat said, you need to go check him out, right? So I went to see him, and he gave me a record. He was like, oh, Wayne Bruce, Spur of the Moment, right? Like, whatever. The cat brought down the house, right? Dude brought down the house. Handed me the CD. I go, at the time with CDs, go to the car, driving home, playing the CD, and I was really mad. I was upset. I was like, I have not heard this dude before. It was like I was the last person. The joke was on me, right? So I was like,
and you do know everybody, Wayne, by the way,
right? Like I don't know this dude is writing like this, and his record, his release, I forgot the name at the time, is one of the one of the most underrated records that I've ever heard.
I've told people that his first album is top 10 unsigned DC artists that I've ever heard.
Ever.
Not
I'm talking about ever in my entire life.
Ever. And
I've heard a lot of records, right?
I have too.
I've worked with a lot of artists, right? I don't want to run the joint down, but today is one of them's birthday. Happy heavenly birthday, George Duke, who was my mentor.
That's my man too.
And Phil Perry, who is my man in LA. They share birthday today. So I've worked with a lot of people. This record is top, it's in one of my tops. I don't want to say the list, but it's in one of my tops of all
that
time.
Incredible. And look, and if you really want to know how great he is, this man was one of the few black musicians in Nashville killing, writing, getting money. As you know about Nashville, they naturally receptive of multicultural and all that. So he was surviving in Nashville.
So he's like another writer that I love, Tommy Sims. So he patterns himself after Tommy. So I've been in this. I do this, right? So he's like Tommy Sims. So go look up Tommy Sims. You want to look up any great writer in the world? Just Tears of on the Tears of Heaven record of Eric Clapton. Tommy Sims writes on that record.
Yes.
With Babyface and
wow.
Okay,
Wow.
CeCe Winans, Garth Brooks, Tommy Sims is a brother that people don't know is behind all that those writers.
Right.
Wow.
So, and Levi.
And so when I started writing with a cat from Memphis, a producer, Jay Rich, who Angie Stone, he's Eric Benet's music director, all that. So we started writing, and I said, hey, I took a song and he had 4 bars. I said, no, that's the record. As soon as I heard it, that's the record. That's the title cut of our record. He was like, it's 4 bars. I said, no, you didn't hear the rest of the song God gave me. Don't play. Let's not play. You ain't heard it all.
I know that's right.
I wrote it. I was like, you wrote that. We'll finish the record. And then we were writing the record. And I said, I got to get this cat in to write with us. He was like, who is this guy? I was like, he's going to sing it and write it, right? With us, right? He was like, who is he? I played him a live track of Levi Stevens. We called him the moment we finished the live track. He came in. The next week, we wrote the song in one day. Came back and recorded it in 2 days, and that's what you hear. It's taped in LA. We went out LA, and the video was free. So let's not play when something is in.
We like free.
The video was free.
Come on now.
The video, you don't understand. The video is free. We had to rent the Cadillac. You'll see the Cadillac.
Wow, here it is.
Yeah. I'm okay. You okay? Well, sometimes the only way to get through is to go through. And you know we done been through, bruh. Well, I'll see you in a few. Hey, remember, we in too deep.
longer fearful of the future. My path now bears a simple truth. No need for wasted tears. All my thoughts now crystal clear and set on what it is that I must do. I'm further now than when I started. Forced to believe beyond my means. Both stronger now and more determined. I've resolved to follow to wherever this may lead. I'm in too deep. I can't let go. I can't let go. I've come too far to turn and run. No, I won't. I can't stop. No matter what they may think, I still believe in this dream. I can only be what has been promised. My fate, the sum of ordered steps. But my impatience only leaves more room for doubt. It seems all that I need now is to believe. I no longer count the days in passing. I've made my peace with yesterday. Now looking forward, I believe more strongly in that which I've seen is far beyond what many dare to dream. I'm in too deep. I can't let go. Said I'm in too deep. To turn and run. No, 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 no. I won't. I can't stop. No matter what they think. No matter what they may think. Said I still believe. I still believe in that. So hold on, hold on. I'm so much stronger now than ever before. These tests and trials are proof that I'm where I belong. So I keep holding on. My heart is fixed on all that I see. Oh, I'm in too deep. Oh, said I'm in too deep. I've come too far to turn. Gotta keep on, gotta keep moving now. I won't. No matter what they say, I still believe, I still believe. Oh, I still believe. I gotta keep on, I gotta keep on. I said I still believe, I still believe, I still believe, I still believe, I still hold on, 'cause I still believe. No matter what they may say, I still believe in this dream. I still believe, I still believe, oh, I still believe, yeah. Ooh, but I can't go back. Come too far.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, Wayne.
That takes you somewhere. I'm sorry. That
yes,
is
those lyrics.
Spiritual.
I did it. I'm getting ready to write me one. I'm getting ready to write me a song right now.
Yo,
You can close your eyes. That takes you somewhere.
Yeah,
it really did. I was feeling it, man. I was in the car, man. Wayne, was that a steel guitar at the end?
Huh?
That wasn't a steel guitar at the end, was it?
A steel guitar? That was a Taylor. It's a Taylor steel string guitar. It's not a steel guitar.
That sound. I see you. I saw that pocket square too, son.
Listen, the gentleman that's the lead. He is that
that's Levi.
Right?
That's Levi. Right? He is the truth. Shout out to the drummer Tim Steele too. The drummer Tim Steele is my man as well. So shout out to my man Tim, man.
Shout out to all of you. That was great.
Yeah, so Wayne, is Spur kind of like you're like you at the basis of Spur, and you just kind of add the gumbo, or?
Well, I'm the founder of the band.
Yes.
So I started the band.
Yeah,
I started the band because I couldn't get hired as a guitarist, so I started my own damn band.
I know that's right.
But and now you are
31 years later, 32 years later this year. What has survived? Because I started something, and what has been able to be a just to so many artists and so many musicians in this area that we've collaborated and been able to provide a living to. So,
and nobody's coming to save you. I say that all the time. Nobody is coming to save you. Create your own thing. If you can't get through the door, it's okay.
Yeah, sometimes that's like you said, that's right. Trying to save you. He's closing these doors because he wants you to go the way you're supposed to go.
Own door. That's what I
said.
So, and if you ever played in a band people, Lord musicians, woo, Lord Jesus.
All right.
It's a lot.
Look, that's my gift today to y'all, man. You know, that whole song is about keeping steady and know that that your faith is the sum of ordered steps.
Yes.
Man, so that's going to wrap it up.
I told it to him. I was like, my faith is some of ordered steps. He was like, yeah, let's write that in the song.
That's how
and
you
then
do it.
I was just like,
that's how you do it.
Put that in the song. He was like, nah, that's it.
That's how you do it.
That's what we came up with, man. That's an incredibly gifted dude, and God had brought him my way. And
you know the thing that's so frustrating about radio, like I know HUR played that song, and it's just such a great song, and it seems like adult music. There's only a couple places where they'll play it, and then when they do play it, they play it for a couple weeks and it's gone.
It's gone.
And it's just so frustrating because and that's a whole other topic. We'll talk about that. That's a whole other topic. Okay, so anyway, look, guys, I kept you longer than expected. You guys are amazing. I love you all.
Thank you, Mark.
Everybody for checking in. Gary Groove, man. Gary broke down. He broke down. He told us why. He told me on the messaging why he was talking about the space for musicians. He said no, money can be made, but he was just saying it was the purpose was about the love and the musician and musicianship. And so, amen. And so, everybody, thanks again. Have a great day. And tomorrow, let me do my little plug here. Tomorrow, I know some of y'all want to be actors and actresses. Well, I'm going to have on Dr. LaVelle Long and Lisa Renee Marshall, DC Black Broadway. Let me tell you.
Oh my God. Two of my favorite people in the world, I may add. Two of my favorite people right there.
That story is amazing. I stayed from heartbreak to selling out, to selling out plays, selling out venues. And he's got some great news because not only has he done a deal that's going to affect the DMV, his next shows are scheduled in Atlanta, Detroit, New York. And so he's got a deal. He's also going to be at the Bethesda Blues and Jazz as far as residency there. And so we got exciting news, especially because, there's so many talented artists in this area.
Yes.
And a lot of times you feel like, well, how can I get on? Well, look, just like Tyler Perry started off, David E. Talbot started off with plays and expanded. Dr. LaVelle is doing the same thing. In fact, I'm going to have to worry about my weight loss because I was scheduled to be Uncle Phil in the Prince of
First Fresh Prince.
Yes, And so it got COVID.
Wow.
COVID shut that down. So I know we're gonna bring it back. But yes, you know, he's got a lot of great ideas, a lot of great concepts. And if you're an actor, if you're a writer, if you're an entertainer, there's going to be great opportunities right here in the DMV because of DC Black Broadway. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. And so we'll see you guys tomorrow.
And Mark, I'm gonna connect you with my brother. He was actually on This Is Us. He's an actor. He graduated from Cal Arts with his master's. He was on This Is Us. He graduated from Dunbar High School. And my sister, she went to school for the arts, and she's an actress as well. She does commercials and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna connect you with them too.
Your family is that the sister that interned back in the day?
Yes, and she was at your Christmas party.
And was that your dad at the party? Was that your dad at the party?
That was my dad. Yeah, my dad and my mom. Yep.
I tell you. Anyway, so this is amazing. So guys, thank you so much, Henry, Wayne, Samantha, Bootsy, Shannon. Great show. Thank you, everybody who checked in. Thank you, and everybody who's watching this later on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you have a product that you want to promote, if you have an organization that needs exposure, please reach out to me. That's what this is all about. That's what the Marc Clarke Morning Show is all about. I guess the Marc Clarke Noon Show. But
this is a business. You too far gone to see that yet?
There it is. That was it.
That's
it. Right. Thank you, Wayne. All right, y'all. See y'all tomorrow.